In modern day college football, it's going to be difficult for some teams to win a national championship. Impossible for some. Air Force is one of those teams. So today in College Football 25, we add one superstar to the Air Force Falcons until they win a national championship. Air Force being in the Mountain West makes their lack of talent overall a little bit easier to deal with, and we go 8-5 in our first season. We see a good amount of success in passing attack, but obviously the offense we've run is going to benefit the rushing attack a little bit more. So we do see some success at 8-5, but we're trying to win a national championship. So we're going to need more talent. And as always, we spin the wheel, and first we get Notre Dame. We are going to add Howard Cross, an explosive weapon at defensive tackle. And unfortunately, we go 4-8. It's a tough year for the Air Force Falcons. Similar results in the passing attack as well as the rushing attack, although the rushing attack does take a little bit of a step backwards. And Howard Cross's addition to the defense is a good one. Again, this video will take some time. And next we get Syracuse. So we're going to take Oronde Gadsden to upgrade our tight end position. Again, the talent level is going to need to go up quite a bit as we finish 5-7. And the stats, once again, are fairly similar. There's not going to be a ton of impact so far, but we have a long ways to go before we're getting to a national championship, and it's going to take multiple superstars to get to that point. Gadsden finishes with 146 yards. We're not expecting big things from the passing attack, but you'd like to see him do a little bit better. Next, we get Wisconsin, which is huge because we need help on the offensive line. We were going to add Riley Mallman to help our tackle position. That's going to help our rushing attack and our offense as a whole. It upgrades our offense to a 77 overall, and we do find a way to get to a bowl game against Oklahoma State. Down 28-17 in the fourth quarter, John Busha is going to run it in for a touchdown to pull within 5. The 2-point conversion with just under 2 minutes left is going to be pitched out and is going to be fumbled, so we do not get that. And on 3rd and 9, late in the fourth quarter, Oklahoma State finds a busted coverage against Air Force, and they are going to take it all the way for a touchdown. A disappointing finish to the season. That was a big touchdown we could not have, and it's a 35-23 loss to finalize our season. Again, disappointing finish, but again, stats are fairly similar. The rushing attack appears to be solid. The passing attack was a little bit better overall, and again, our defense found a way to be fairly successful as well. The rushing attack needs some help as well. So we get South Carolina, which means we'll add Raheem Sanders as a fullback, upgrading our offense to a 79 overall. We make a bowl game once again, and we're down 21-15 against Cincinnati with 13 seconds left. 4th and 16, trying to get the first down, but a pass downfield is incomplete. Cincinnati takes a knee and ultimately wins the Guaranteed Rate Bowl by a score of 21-15. Again, the stats are a little bit better. Passing attack took a little bit of a jump this year, and Raheem Sanders had a big year, 899 yards and 8 touchdowns. Obviously, his impact is going to be huge for this team. Passing attack, again, had some pretty solid production, but nothing crazy. Defense, once again, is doing its part. Next, we get Michigan, and there's lots of options that we could pick, but it's hard to go against Will Johnson. Will Johnson is going to be a phenomenal talent for us at the cornerback position, and our defense is up to a 75. Overall, we're a 76. We start the year 6-1, and we head to Army. It's a low-scoring game with under 2 minutes left, 7-0. Army picks up a first down there, and with 1:30 left, they're trying to continue to move the ball down the field. They throw a screen pass, nearly pick up the first down. 2nd and 2, dropping back to pass once again, and throws an interception. Air Force is going to pick that off with 1:11, and they find a way to hold on in this rivalry game. A big year as Air Force makes it to the Mountain West Championship game against Nevada, and they are up 26-3. A throw to the flats is going to extend that lead, and a 36-3 lead turns to 39-3 with this field goal as time expires, and final score is a 36-point win for Air Force. Unfortunately, though, Liberty gets in over them, as well as Texas State, into the college football playoff. We finish obviously first in the conference, but it's not enough. The passing attack, Busha throws for over 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns. Sanders has a big year with over 1,100 yards and 16 touchdowns on the ground. You'd like to see some more production from other players as well. Gadsden, again, 195 yards, nothing crazy. The offensive line was very productive. for this team as well. Will Johnson with a solid year with 2 interceptions, and Howard Cross once again very disruptive. Next, we get Kentucky Wildcats on the wheel, and it's pretty obvious who we're going to take. We will take Deon Walker, a huge addition from a talent perspective as well as a size perspective to our defense, and it's going to help our defense in the long run stop certain teams. We do unfortunately finish 7-6, a disappointing end to the year. Busha has 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. Sanders has another 1,000-yard season on the ground with 9 scores as well. Passing attack, once again, disappointing, although Gadsden has 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. The defensive side of the ball is a little bit interesting as we see Will Johnson with a monster year, 9 interceptions, Deon Walker with 14 tackles for loss and 6 sacks. In order for us to be successful, we need an upgrade at quarterback, and fortunately we spin and get Kansas. So that means we're going to take Jalen Daniels, and we are going to see what he can do. Brings our offense all the way up to an 80, a 77 overall, and once again we find ourselves in the Mountain West Championship. This time we are headed to Boise State to face the Broncos, a Broncos team that is ranked and very successful. Shows the upgrade at certain positions. Having Jalen Daniels is huge as well. To get things started in the first quarter, Air Force has a monster leg of a kicker, and he is going to get up 3-0. Boise State is trying to answer, and they're getting some big plays, although Deon Walker is being very disruptive and making things a little bit more difficult, but Boise State appears to be driving. Throws an interception, though, on 3rd and 11. Air Force is going to try to bring this all the way back. Gets tackled inside Boise State territory. That leads to another field goal, 6-0. The addition of Deon Walker is an elite one, and he is being extremely disruptive, wreaking havoc on this defense, and they are making a lot of tackles for loss, making it very difficult for Boise State to get anything done. Again, Walker is just manhandling his opponent, and he is making life very difficult for Maddox Madsen. And on 3rd and 15, with time running down in the first half, he gets this huge breakup there. Air Force can't do anything with it. And on 4th and 3, they have to punt with just over a minute left. And unfortunately for Boise State, they rough the kicker, and it's going to give Air Force a first down, new life in this drive. And they ultimately take it all the way down on 1st and goal. Daniels finds his receiver for a touchdown. Second half begins, and Deon Walker continues to make life miserable for Boise State's offense. As Air Force extends the lead, Deon Walker continues to produce tackles for loss. Boise State isn't going anywhere, though, with 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. A hand up the middle goes for big yardage there. And on 1st and 10 after that, Boise State gets a big-time play here with a touchdown to Austin Bolt. And on the 2-point conversion, they find a receiver over the middle to put it within 8. Air Force is doing a really good job of holding Boise State to just 3 yards rushing. And on 2nd and 10, they're trying to get the ball down the field, but a fumble gives the ball back to Boise State. And ultimately on 2nd and goal, they find a way to get into the end zone. Ashton Genty scores to pull within 2, but they don't get the 2-point conversion. Air Force can't find a way to put more points on the board, so with 1:45, Air Force is looking to hold this Boise State offense, and they're going to get a sack on 3rd and 14. And on 4th down, they are looking to seal this game. 1:29 left in the game, and a deep pass is ultimately knocked down. And Air Force is going to ultimately run this in for another touchdown to extend their lead. And it's ultimately too much as the Air Force Falcons find a way to win another Mountain West championship. A big season as they finish atop of the conference, and we will see if that's going to be enough to get them into the college football playoff. Unfortunately, Air Force does not make it. They make it to the LA Bowl, and you can see Liberty once again makes it into the college football playoff, becoming a real issue as Air Force continues to have successful seasons, but not enough to make the playoff. Jalen Daniels with a good first year with the Falcons, over 1,300 yards passing with 14 touchdowns, a good season for him. Raheem Sanders, 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground. Jalen Daniels adds 827 and 7 touchdowns of his own. That is a good combination in the backfield. That's in 226 yards and 4 touchdowns through the air. The offensive line, again, had a successful year as well. And as you can see, Deon Walker disruptive once again. Will Johnson picking off passes. Now, while we can't add too much to the passing attack, we do need a difference maker at wide receiver. And we get Missouri, so that means we're going to add Luther Burden. Luther Burden's an explosive weapon that could make things very different for this offense, could provide some balance. Finish the year 12-1, a big year, but once again, we find that we are not getting enough done as we don't make the college football playoff. We go back to the wheel and we get Jacksonville State. Clay Webb is going to be a good addition to our offensive line. Again, we do need to bulk up that offensive line and upgrade our talent. Unfortunately, we do not make the college football playoff once again, despite going 11-2. Tulane makes it instead. Florida State is up next. We're going to take Patrick Payton to upgrade our defensive end position. I think that's a good compliment to Walker and Cross. UNLV gets in over us, though, this year. We're getting closer and closer, and we knew that we'd have to add some talent, and getting Oklahoma State means we're going to take Colin Oliver. Our defensive line is looking absolutely elite. That's going to be really fun. The linebacker position gets an upgrade. Air Force goes on 11-2, but unfortunately, again, they do not make the playoff. Spin the wheel, and we get Clemson. We're going to take Barrett Carter. We're trying to upgrade our defense in these last few seasons. We've struggled just to get stops defensively. A 10-3 season means we're not going to make the playoff. Once again, Tulane makes it. We talked about upgrading the offensive line, so getting Oregon State means that we get Joshua Gray. That's going to be a great addition, and our offensive line is starting to look really good. We are adding those teams that have been getting in over us, so we beat Tulane, Texas State, and ultimately we finally find a way to beat Liberty 23-20. And an undefeated season puts us in the Mountain West Championship once again, which we find a way to win 38-14. So we win the Mountain West, and we do finally get into the college football playoff. Our first test is against Oregon. This is where we truly see how much further we need to go. This feels like a very good team in terms of talent. We've added a number of superstars, and as we get things going right off the bat, our defense is stepping up in a big way. Deion Walker making his presence known, and on 3rd and 10, Dylan Gabriel is looking downfield, and he throws it incomplete. The offense gets things going with Raheem Sanders, a big run on 1st and 10 of 9 yards there. And on another 1st and 10, Sanders gets a big chunk of yards to get inside the 25. Jalen Daniels on 3rd and 6 makes a nice throw over the middle to get within the 5, but unfortunately, Air Force has to settle for a field goal. The defensive line gets the next drive started with a tackle for loss by Patrick Payton. And on 3rd and 12, with 3 minutes left in the first quarter, our team picks off the pass here by Dylan Gabriel to get within scoring range and gets another field goal to make it 6-0. Towards the beginning of the second quarter, Dylan Gabriel is looking over the middle, throws late, and it's intercepted as they were driving. Air Force picks it off and is going to get the ball back here. And while they can't do anything with that drive, Dylan Gabriel later in this quarter is going to throw an interception. It's picked off inside the 20, breaks the tackle, and gets into the end zone. And it's going to go for a touchdown, a 17-yard pick six. Oregon's not going anywhere. Dylan Gabriel, who has thrown multiple picks this half, is getting things done through the air. A nice pass there, and he later in the drive finds this guy in the end zone wide open for a touchdown. Starting the second half up 13-7, Air Force is looking to move the ball down the field. On 3rd and 11, Jalen Daniels rolls to the left, makes a nice pass on the left sideline there. And on another 3rd down here, Daniels is looking downfield, bides his time, has plenty of time to throw, and finds Arondé Gadsden on the right side, trying to get in the end zone inside the 15-yard line. A handoff to Raheem Sanders later on 4th and 3 gets them into the end zone. Momentum is in Air Force's favor, a 19-7 lead, but the Oregon Ducks are not done yet. A blown coverage leaves Evan Stewart, one of the fastest receivers in college football, wide open, and it's going to go all the way for a touchdown. Later in the fourth quarter, you're going to see a 19-14 lead turn into a 20-19 lead for Oregon. With under 2 minutes to go, Oregon is trying to pull away here and get the win, but our defense steps up in a huge way, forcing a fumble. It's 20-19 with goal to go, and our defense comes away with a turnover. On the ensuing drive, it's the Jalen Daniels show, and not with his legs. His arm is going to get the job done. A couple of nice completions to pick up first downs here. And on another first down, he throws the ball all the way to the right side, finds Luther Burden for a big completion. And with 1:05 left, he finds Gadsden on the left side there and then runs it in for the go-ahead touchdown. 2-point conversion to make this a 7-point lead is going to be a jet sweep to the left that is tackled for a loss. Oregon is looking to take the lead, but on 4th and 10, Dylan Gabriel looks on the left side and he's going to throw an interception. That is going to steal the win for the Air Force Falcons. A big-time play for this team, and that's going to move them on to the next round, a big 25-20 win. Up next is going to be the #1 Michigan Wolverines. This will be a tougher test. And surprisingly, Air Force is up 30-13. However, Michigan is not going to go away. 4:50 left in the fourth quarter. They score a touchdown here and they get a stop. And on 4th and 10, Alex Orji throws a touchdown on the left side there. 33-27. Time is running out. Air Force defense does get a sack, and because Michigan has no timeouts, the clock is going to run out, and that gives Air Force the win. We find ourselves in the national championship game. Air Force is going to face Utah, and it goes to overtime where Air Force gets the ball first and kicks a field goal to go up 3. Unfortunately, Utah does move the ball down the field fairly quickly, and on 2nd and goal, Micah Bernard is going to punch it in for a touchdown to give Utah the national championship. A disappointing loss, but we know that Air Force is right on the doorstep. Back to the wheel once again. We get ECU. We do need to upgrade our cornerback position. Siobhan Ravel is going to be our pick. And to the surprise of no one, we get back to the Mountain West Championship, although it's a little bit tighter than we would have liked. And we do find ourselves once again in the college football playoff, though we do have to travel to Virginia Tech in our first game. So a little bit different than our first one. We got a bye in our first, and now we're at Virginia Tech. And Air Force is absolutely taking it to Virginia Tech. A touchdown there is followed by a pick 6 on the ensuing drive, and it's an absolute blowout for Air Force. 48-21 on the road. That gets them to the next round. The next round is a little bit tighter as Ole Miss is giving us some trouble. A speed option to the left. Sanders breaks the tackle to bring this in and make it a 23-13 lead. And ultimately, that is going to be enough to get us the win to move on to the next round. Ole Miss falls to the Falcons. A tough game presents itself as the #1 Ohio State Buckeyes are in the way. And as 16-10, Ohio State goes up 17-16 with a touchdown to Travion Henderson. Air Force does respond with a field goal with 15 seconds left, and that's going to be enough as our defense holds for a 19-17 win. The national championship game is going to be against the Miami Hurricanes, the 7 seed in this tournament, and a bunch of field goals get things started. Air Force starts it off. Again, another long field goal to go up 6-0. And Miami responds with a field goal of their own to make it 6-3. As time is winding down in the first half, Cam Ward is looking down the left side, completes his pass to his receiver. Another pass on the left side to Xavier Restrepo gives them a first down, and he is just carving up this defense. Steven Martinez gets a reception there, and on 1st and 10, he's looking to the right, has his guy on the middle of the field, and it's going to be a touchdown. Damian Martinez gets Miami up 10-6. Air Force did add a field goal, and with 3:45 left in the fourth quarter, they're trying to get a stop here. Barrett Carter gets the job done for a tackle for loss. On 3rd and 15, they nearly get a safety, making it 4th and 24. Miami has the punt, which gives Air Force great field position. Jalen Daniels finds his guy on the right side for a 8-yard completion, and on 3rd and 2, he finds his receiver over the middle for a 1st and goal. And on 1st and goal, he's looking on the left side, finds his receiver in the end zone, Arande Gadsden, for the touchdown. The 2-point conversion up 15-10 is ultimately going to fall short. And at 1st and 10, Cam Ward is trying to move his team down the field, looking on the right side, going to get a 1-yard gain there. On 2nd and 9, he looks on the left side, and it's nearly picked off. On 3rd and 9, he throws to the left side again, and Will Johnson gets his revenge, picks off this pass inside the 5-yard line, and Air Force is going to add a touchdown to extend their lead, and that gives them the national championship win. The Air Force Falcons are the national champions. This was a little bit more difficult than some of the other videos we've done in this series. This is the first one I did in College Football 25, and I'm curious to see what all you would like to see for the next team to do this. This was really fun, a very difficult, very unique challenge, and I'm curious to see what you all think. And as always, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel.